Hello. So, this is weird. Poppin Questions podcast number 34. Every time we do this, as you all know, it's 5 questions sent in by readers through my ForumSpring account. So it's forumspring.me/Jozen. You could go to hit me at feedback and until-I-get-married.com. It doesn't really matter however you hit me, but what does matter is that I keep everybody's identity anonymous. And so these questions are coming from readers. I don't know who they are. I don't know what they look like. I even know their names if they sent it to me through my ForumSpring account. So we have 5 good questions this week. Some of them, I think the oldest one goes back 4 weeks ago. I know I've been I know I fell off, but we're back. And we're back in a whole new format. Like I said, Jermaine is checking to see if our YouTube page is indeed youtube.com/until-I-get-married. But for those of you who have chosen to watch me for the very first time, because we're recording this for the very first time, like I said, be nice to me. I'm just sitting here in Jermaine's apartment because he has a nicer apartment than mine, and I'm not afraid to admit that. And I have this nice chair I can lean back on. IKEA. Yes, IKEA, who is part of one of the sponsors of this. They don't even know it. They don't know it yet, but IKEA, you are definitely a part of this, the Poppin Questions podcast. So I am going to read these questions straight off the iPad. No, iMac. And or iBook. What are these ones called?
MacBook Pros.
MacBook Pros, yeah. But anyways, we have 5 great questions, and I am about to answer all of them. The first question that I have is not necessarily going to be the first question that I ask because it's kind of too raw. So I'm just going to get into a rhythm, little warm-up questions. And I want to thank everybody for sending them in. Again, forumspring.me/Jozen is the best way that you could go ahead and hit me with an anonymous question. So, it is youtube.com/until-I-get-married. So, yeah, here we go. So, the first question is from a woman that says, how do you tell the guy you're dating that you'd like to remain celibate until you're married? Would you date a woman who was celibate? And when do you think would be the best time for her to break the news to you? So I'm going to answer these questions backwards. The first question that you ask is, when do you think would be the best time for a woman to tell me that she was trying to be celibate until she was married? I have a funny story. Well, some people will recall, longtime readers will recall that I wrote about once dating a virgin and my experiences with that. And this was long after I had been sexually active and I had been used to being in relationships with women who were sexually active. But one thing that I really respected about her was that she told me before we even had our first date, she said, I just want you to know that I'm a virgin and I'm planning on staying that way until I'm married. So I had a lot of respect for that up front. She was trying to be as open and honest as she could about, if things progress, just to let you know, there is a limit as to what we're going to do physically. So if there is that limit that exists for you and you realize that sex is very much a reality in the lives of people, of single people who are dating, you should get that out of the way quickly. I would say that the first date isn't too soon to talk about that, and just state it up front. Find a way to fit that in there. I wouldn't, be sitting at dinner ordering from the menu. I'll take the lobster, and FYI, I'm also planning on being celibate. First of all, I'd be pissed you ordered the lobster if you were planning on being celibate, but that's neither here nor there. The fact is that you should get that out of the way as soon as possible. The second question you ask is, would you date a woman who was celibate? Yes, I would date a woman who was celibate. Because I honestly feel like if she's celibate, not a virgin, celibate, right? So we know the difference, right? Which means that you've had sex before. You said you'd like to remain celibate until you're married. Well, we would like to remain a lot of things, but we know that reality strikes us, and then we go back on things that we basically set out to do. So, given full respect to your attitude right now about sex, that you want to remain celibate, I would still be down to date you because, to be honest with you, I would kind of look at it as a challenge. And I don't mean that I'm actually going to pursue sex with you. I would date you accordingly. But it is a challenge for me. I mean, look, everybody has their rules, right? Everybody has, like certain women still have the rules of no kissing on the first date. That's fine. But if I'm doing everything right on that first date, your rule of not kissing on the first date is challenged because you actually want to kiss me on the first date. So if this is something that you would like to do, be celibate until you're married, hey, I respect that. I would respect that 100%. I wouldn't try to manipulate you into having sex with me, but I would want you to desire to have sex with me before we got married. And Jermaine's looking at me crazy, but that's true. I'm not trying to be celibate until I'm married, but I don't feel that that's any reason not to date you. I could still date you, and because I like you, and I don't like you because of the promise of sex or anything like that. I like you. I like spending time with you. You're attracted to me. I want to date you.
But you would respect her space.
And I would totally respect that. But
what if she wanted to?
But what I'm saying is, so that eventually, I would hope that I am making you think differently about certain things that you had in mind, because I think you're making this declaration of celibacy right now, and hey, feel free to write me back and tell me that I'm wrong. You're single, you're not getting any anyways, and basically you're tired of having casual sex. If you and I are dating, you're not single, you're not having casual sex anymore. So the reasons why you wanted to be celibate don't even exist. And it's because those reasons don't exist that I would hope that you would come around and start to think differently about your stance on celibacy, simply because the circumstances in which you made that declaration are different now. So, yes, I would date you. Yes, I would respect that you were celibate, but don't think that I wouldn't hope that you would come around and eventually change your attitude about that, because it's like anything else. We have certain beliefs and certain things that we think are ideal, certain standards that we think are ideal to live by. But the fact is that, hey, if somebody comes into our lives and gives us reason to look at things differently, I don't think that that's a bad thing, and I don't think that you should restrain yourself simply because you made up. You gave yourself some rule to live by before I came into your life. So that's my answer on that. And then the third question in that was, how do you tell the guy you're dating that you'd like to remain celibate until you're married? This is how you do it. You look him dead in the eye and you say, I would like to remain celibate until I'm married. It's really that simple. There's no, you could look up celibacy in the thesaurus and try to come up with another word for it, but basically you're not trying to have sex until you're married. That's fine. Just telling that straight up.